about the horror mystery The Ritual, a British film released in 2017 and based on a novel by Adam Neville. The film opens with 5 friends, Dom, Hutch, Phil, Rob, and Luke, who know each other from university. They're at a pub, drinking and talking about future plans, when Rob suggests the idea of hiking in Sweden to rekindle their friendship. But the group doesn't really seem interested in such a trip. They exit the pub and Luke purchases a bottle of vodka at a local shop with Rob joining him. As both characters are talking, they happen upon the cashier, who is motionless in fear on the floor. 2 armed criminals enter from a door in the back of the shop. Luke quickly hides, but Rob, not being able to react quickly enough, is left frozen in place. The criminals confront Rob, demanding he gives them his wallet, watch, and ring. Rob heeds to their demand of the wallet and watch, but is reluctant to give up his wedding ring. Luke, who has a bottle of vodka in hand, prepares to rush the criminals to save his friend. Unfortunately, he's too slow and his friend is brutally killed in front of him. Fast forward to 6 months later, and the 4 remaining friends, still trying to cope with their grief of their murdered friend Rob, set off on a hiking trip in Sweden, the same place Rob had mentioned. They set off on their journey following the King's Trail in Sarek National Park when the trek takes a turn for the worse. Dom slips and injures his knee, leaving him unable to walk. Hutch suggests that if they take a shortcut through the forest, they will be able to get Dom the medical attention he needs. The dark, ominous forest looms in front of them, and the friends enter, not knowing that their fate has already been sealed. The trees, with their spindly shapes and contorting trunks, give off an unsettling feeling. As the group of friends traverse the forest, they come across disturbing omens. An elk disemboweled, hanging from the trees, and odd-looking markings etched into the trunks. Night brings about a rainstorm, so knowing that they must seek shelter, the group stumble upon an old cabin. Upon entering, they soon realize that the ominous symbols they encountered are also present in this cabin. There is a necklace hanging from the wall with the mysterious symbol. The feeling of dread is amplified as Phil discovers a bizarre wooden carving of a human body with antlers for arms and no head. The group of friends try to sleep, but are terrorized by nightmares. As dawn breaks, Luke discovers that he has strange puncture wounds on his torso. Phil is in the attic, completely naked and appearing to be worshipping the wooden carving. The friends regroup and set off into the dense forest, hoping to find a way out. Unsure of their position, Luke climbs a ridge, hoping the elevated land will give some indication of their position. In the distance, he sees a hand gripping a tree. Unsure what to make of this sight, he reports back to the group, mentioning what he saw. Dom dismisses the finding. The group begin to argue, and the underlying cause of the friction is soon revealed. Dom accuses Luke of being too cowardly to prevent Rob's death. As night descends, distant screams wake Luke from his nightmare-induced slumber. The group comes together, apart from Hutch, whose tent is empty. The characters go deeper into the woods following the screams, suspecting that their friend could be in peril. Hours pass, dawn breaks, and the group is exhausted. They soon come to realize that they are lost. Unable to detect the location of their campsite, the 3 friends push forward without their supplies. They soon find Hutch, who's been the victim of a grisly murder, splayed across the tree branches, disemboweled. The similarities with the elk they found earlier are uncanny. The group, stricken with grief, bury their friend. But first, they take some key items from his body, a knife and a compass. Luke separates from Dom and Phil to gain a better vantage point of the forest. He is overcome with a sense of hope as he sees smoke from campfires in the distance. Luke knows that they must be near the edge of the forest. As he descends the ridge to tell Dom and Phil the good news, he finds them frozen in fear with their flashlight aimed at the trees ahead. They say they heard a noise, that something is stalking them. In an instant, hope turns to dread as Phil suddenly disappears off screen. Luke finds Dom hiding from whatever is stalking them, and they both decide to run. The monster gives chase, and as the 2 friends flee, they find Phil's body impaled on a tree. A path lays before them, lit up with torches of fire. Luke and Dom make a mad dash for the first house they see, bursting through the door. They both collapse to the floor out of exhaustion and relief, but they are not alone. The inhabitants of the house knock both friends unconscious. As both friends wake up, they realize their hands are bound. The dank, dark room must be a basement of some sort. An old woman enters, looks at Luke's wounds, and then pulls her top down to show that she bears the same marks. As she begins to leave, she says something in a foreign tongue. The two men approach Dom and drag him upstairs. Another woman enters the basement, much younger in appearance, and says that the sacrificial preparations have begun. Time passes and Dom is returned to the basement. While he has been savagely beaten and is covered with blood, he is still alive. Dom tells Luke that he is to be a human sacrifice for the creature that was stalking them in the woods, and that Luke must escape and destroy the village. Dom is brought outside, ready to be sacrificed, and tied to a wooden post. Night comes and a chilling roar can be heard in the belly of the forest. The villagers drop to their knees and worship the monster that had chased Luke and Dom. Dom looks on and sees his wife emerging from the trees, cradling his head in her hands. But this is just a comforting vision. The beast, headless with antlers for hands, lifts the hapless Dom and impales him on the branches of a tree. Horrified, Luke watches on and out of sheer desperation breaks his thumb to slip out of his restraints. But before he can make his escape, the young woman reappears. She tells him that the creature is called Jotun, a creature from Scandinavian mythology. The villagers provide sacrifices to this powerful deity in return for immortality. Luke is told that he has the choice of joining the cult or being sacrificed. Unaware that Luke has nearly freed himself from his restraints, the woman walks away and leaves the basement. Luke seizes the opportunity and breaks free. He sneaks out of the basement and hears chanting and screaming from behind a door. He ventures inside, carrying a wooden torch, and finds a group of mummified villagers who are still alive due to the immortality they had been granted. Luke sets them alight with his torch. The cabin begins to burn, and this attracts the monster to the village. The creature violently murders the remaining villagers, and Luke manages to escape the burning cabin. Luke finds a rifle and an axe and stumbles outside running for the tree line. He then turns around and sees the creature killing one of the villagers. Luke, who is no longer frozen with fear, musters up the courage to aim the rifle at the monster and shoots, but the creature doesn't die. The monster pursues Luke, who frantically starts to run, and the monster poisons Luke's mind with visions of the nightmare he had been experiencing. The monster catches Luke and he is forced onto his knees to submit to it, but Luke's will is too strong and he fights back. The monster, huge in comparison to Luke, tosses him around, bringing him close to death. Luke musters up his final ounces of strength and uses the axe to strike the monster's head. He then flees. As dawn begins to break, Luke follows the light into an open field. He looks back and the monster, unable to follow him, lurks in the trees and lets out a mighty roar. Luke triumphantly screams back at the ancient, evil creature. Luke finds a road and a passing car. He has redeemed himself for his past failings and conquered his fears. His nightmare is no longer a reality.